Welcome, fellow travelers. It's Mickey Gold. This Saturday, October 31st, is Halloween. It also is the second full moon of the month, which is referred to as a blue moon. Now, in astrology, there's nothing inherently special about a blue moon. However, what we get is a second chance. Now, I talk about releasing to the full moon. We talk about on this channel about cycles, and the new moon, of course, is when we ask or we put out what we want, our intention for the moon cycle, and the full moon is generally releasing. Now, on this very special new moon or full moon, because it's a blue moon and our second one, we've already done some releasing this month. So what I'd like you to do is to go a little deeper if you can. So for instance, if you were going to clean out your closet, you would not just take everything out of your closet, throw it in your car, drive to Goodwill, and then give everything to Goodwill. You would be left with nothing. So, what we do when normally we clean our closet, we sort things into piles and we decide. And that's what I'd like us to do with this full moon is to look deeper because we really don't we aren't our thoughts. Our thoughts don't always come from us. Have you noticed when you sit there and all of a sudden a thought pops into your head? You didn't ask for it, you didn't create it. It just comes out of nowhere. You're listening to this thought or you're feeling whatever the case may be. And sometimes our feelings are the same way. So, one of the things I'd like us to look at is most of the things that cause us problems that we want to release are usually based around shame. Now, for instance, anger. Anger tends to be a big one, especially when people are on the spiritual path or the journey. Anger seems to be something that a lot of people look at and go, oh, I shouldn't feel anger. However, you might feel lots of anger and you might be really low energy all the rest of the time. So, for instance, when we take a moment to look inside of ourselves, we might see that we have a lot of anger, but we also feel drained. So, you can do things like imagining taking that anger and imagining, maybe adding a cable to it, like putting a cable to it and then hooking it up to what you imagine your energy body would be. And then you'd run that anger through to your energy. So you're vital and alive all day long and you have the energy. So if you take, because anger is big energy, anger is like huge energy. And you could take and plug that into your energetic body, go have a great workout. You might lift weights, you might run, or you might use it to scrub or to write a song or to learn how to play drums, something that you can put that energy, because that's all it is, it's energy. Put that energy into. And you can even take apart things. You could look at if you have an addiction, look at all the different pieces that make up addiction. The main one of that is shame. Shame is something that we feel as though it helps us stay on the straight and narrow, because normally if someone's shameless, you just can't get them to do what we want. But however, maybe as society, we should stop trying to shame people. We should stop because for a good part, for the people who are going to do quote unquote bad things, if they are not easily shamed, well, the good quote unquote good people having to live with shame is not helpful. Shame does not feel good. Shame can eat us, rot us from the inside out. Because you might have a thought, you might have a belief somewhere that, it's like, oh, I shouldn't think that way. And the shame is the problem. So taking this time, going a little deeper than we usually go on our releasing would be super helpful. And you might find that, there's stuff that we don't need to release. Again, if we repurpose things, put them to a better use. Like I said, anger is a perfect example. That's massive energy. And again, most of us don't have lots of energy to spare. We wake up in the morning and we're like, and we conk out at night. And, in between, we might just be like, what do I need to eat so I can get my energy up? You have those hangry moments type of thing. However, if we can reroute, if we can investigate in ourselves, because like I've said, the world outside of you can be perfect, but if inside of you doesn't feel good, isn't a safe place for you to be, you're never going to feel okay on the outside. And so I hope that if this channel, if these videos only does one thing, is it helps you look inside and helps you be okay with you. That's the most important thing we can ever do. When we don't feel shame about who we are, about the thoughts we think, and when we really know, because when we take time to go inside too, you can find the great qualities about yourself. We're not just going to be picking on the bad qualities, but find the great qualities about yourself and see if some of these other qualities that you don't like about that, see if you could take that energy and add it to the great qualities, or see what you can do to, where has this been useful? Because sometimes we look at stuff and go, well, it's not useful. However, we might be able to we need this, this would be useful. So really, again, take the time, get to know yourself. This is a second chance for us to redo that full moon. So I am going to be putting out another subliminal releasing to the full moon. And again, you can, instead of necessarily releasing, you can take that energy and put it someplace else. Decide what you want to keep. Decide what you got almost a whole week, 3 days before, 3 days after. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a subliminal releasing to the full moon. I have several of them. So if this new one doesn't feel comfy to you, you can listen to one of the older ones, because I think I'm going to play around with it and kind of give it a Halloween-y vibe. So that might not gel well with you and your listening. I hope when I put out different full moon music that it resonates with you, and not everything's going to resonate. So just take with what you want and leave the rest behind. All right, fellow travelers, I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace, love, namaste.